Oh, no.
Man, all right,
See,
taking that,
a
taking
little
that
too
mole.
much in the tank,
Yeah.
and then not good enough. We didn't get to see what it was, but not
Yeah.
good enough. That's
I did
what
see
we know.
2 Chrome Moxes, and that was a little bit rough. You don't really want to.
So you want to
lose
just
4 cards in the
immediately go
opening
down
hand?
to a harsh mulligan, essentially.
Yeah.
Have a lot of mana and nothing to do with it is not exactly where you want to be. Especially against Reanimator, where if you try to be on that side, we're not sure who's on the play, but could you imagine you double Chrome Mox, get all, and then they just go turn 1 Thought Seize, and you're like, neat.
You're like, all right.
All right, we're playing off the top of the deck for the rest of the game, pretty much.
Fantastic.
But there is some argument to getting out a lot of fast mana early and just getting ahead.
Yeah, definitely want to go nice and fast with a Stompy in traditional Stompy fashion here. Ideally, probably looking to keep a hand that can generate 2 or 3 mana at least on turn 1 with some kind of hate piece. He does run 4 Trinispheres in the main board.
Yeah, which if we're talking
so-
about a hate piece of a different kind.
Yeah.
Trinisphere itself, not going after the hand, but definitely keeping things kind of locked down.
Yeah. This is looking reasonable. I could see a City of Traders and a Chalice, which is pretty good. If Scott's on the play here, then that definitely is good. You know, kind of going in blind, not really knowing his own Reanimator, but Chalice on 1 in Legacy is just fine. Like, it's just good.
Yeah, you feel like you're probably hitting a lot of things, but looks like
Ooh.
this.
Not really looking good.
See, I thought that might have been a group, but it's actually an Archon.
Unmasked,
But
targeting.
still getting a look at the hand here.
Oh wow! Okay,
Oh.
Scott's just gonna scoop it up. He doesn't
Wow,
want his
okay.
opponent nobody's playing.
All right.
Yeah.
Unexpected. I
Yeah.
guess Scott didn't feel strong enough about losing
No.
that, and maybe he didn't think he could beat possibly a reanimated Archon on
Yeah.
turn 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's a
after
little
after a mold of 4, I believe it was,
Yeah.
losing that extra card and then your opponent knowing what you're on, like sometimes it is just good. I mean, Unmasked is also a pretty telling card
Yeah.
because there's only one deck that really plays
Yeah,
that. So
I mean, you see
have
that,
the
you see
advantage.
Unmasked Art, you're like, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, Scott's coming in here with the upper hand, kind of knowing what his opponent's playing, while Chris is still going in blind here.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that Scott just assumed, like, you know, we couldn't see everything in Scott's hand, but
Yeah.
if he didn't have an answer to just a reanimate Archon, maybe that's all he needed to know.
Yeah. So Scott's probably going to be bringing in some Fairy Macabres here. He wants to snipe those big creatures out of the graveyard before Chris is
Yeah.
able to
So
bring
if
him
we-
back here.
If we consider what he has access to is what the whole 4 of Fairy Macabre, the 4 of Fiery Confluence, the 4 Bringer of the Red Dawn, which we were talking about earlier, 2 Emrakul, and 1 Torpor Orb, which probably not coming in. I don't really think the trigger outside of maybe Atraxa specifically.
Oh, and Archon as well.
Yeah. So it could be good. It's a little hard to tell.
Yeah.
But the Bring of the Red Dawn are very interesting because they essentially get to active treason away something incredibly powerful from your Reanimator opponent. The argument, I guess, would be, is it too slow?
Quite possibly. I mean, Reanimator doesn't run a lot of haste creatures anymore, unless you're running that spicy Tyrannosaurus Rex, which I think most people kind of came off after the first
Yeah, we
couple
didn't
weeks.
see it in this particular Reanimator list, but not that Scott would necessarily know that. This is an open decklist situation right now.
Yeah, there's an argument as well for bringing in Emrakuls for Scott, just because most Reanimator decks are just
The possible show and tell in Neverfoot, which I think we've gotten to see at least once.
Yes, yeah, I did get to see that a little bit earlier.
Unfortunately,
with
not
Richard
as good as
putting
you
in
thought it would
Emrakul.
be, when it happened, but it was pretty neat to see it. And definitely a reasonable thing to do. Now, I guess the
Yes.
problem is that sometimes you draw them and your opponent just goes with the classic Reanimator route, and you're kind of sitting with a very expensive card in hand with nowhere to go.
Yeah. So what we got here from Scott? I can see Shadow Skull.
Definitely
what
see
is
a
that?
Spirit
Ancient
Guide.
City.
Yeah,
Guide,
Trinisphere.
Chalice, Trinisphere. Trinisphere on turn 1's pretty good.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I
he's
was
got a
gonna say,
Fairy Macabre too. So
He definitely has the start that he's probably looking for, but it looks like Chris does not, and puts
Yeah.
it back.
Chris is not liking that one.
Yeah, it's like being on the draw as the Reanimator deck and knowing, or at least having some idea that your opponent might be on some sort of like prison-esque strategy. I think you're looking for something real specific
Yeah. Well, he
maybe
doesn't know what he's on yet.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true.
because
he
Scott
didn't-
just scooped it up on
yeah,
game after.
unless he
after
happened to
Unmasked.
see him like playing earlier.
Yeah.
We're gonna, I guess, assume that he actually doesn't know
Yeah.
anything. He didn't get to see really any cards.
Yeah.
Just a lot of mulligans.
Yeah, I mean these are both local players, so there's a
Yeah.
pretty good chance he knows what he's on. But Scott does like to switch up decks every once in a
Yeah,
while, so kind of
it's-
mixing it up a little
The
bit.
consummate legacy player likes to try out a little bit of everything.
Yeah, variety is the spice of life.
Well, we could just start out with the side of Spike Field that doesn't do
Yeah.
damage. But
Ooh, Chalice one's pretty good.
so instead of, I guess it's what do you want to do, Trinisphere or Chalice? Chalice on 1 stops him from being thought seized or anything like that, which is pretty relevant.
Yeah,
Which does not stop a grief or unmask though.
Yeah.
So. And pitching the Dark Ritual that can't be cast,
Yeah.
just making good use of cards that would otherwise be dead.
yeah. It's definitely going to be good. We're going to have a City Traders coming in, and I'm probably feeling Trinisphere here. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of locking out your opponent. Like,
He
you're
also
going to
has
have a couple
he also has
turns.
Fable in hand, which, a little bit slower, but does get some mana going. But
Yeah.
looks like he's just going the safer.
Yeah.
Just get that Trinisphere in.
Definitely good. Like Scott's only got 2 cards in hand right now, and Chris is quite a grip, so just wants to give himself a couple of turns here, see if he can draw something good, so he can kind of get out of this.
And the
Ooh, and a
very,
Rabble
very
Master.
quick. Yeah. It's difficult, right? It's still an argument for probably playing the Fable before a Rabble Master, but it's a little hard to say.
Oh, he's just gonna jam a Blood Sun.
Okay. Maybe he just wants to get the draw card off of Blood Sun.
Let's see what he does here. I mean, this is the classic, like, use him or lose him.
Oh,
And he's gonna use
okay,
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just name Archflats and then they're just
Yeah.
do nothing.
Funny enough, he just had 2 of the same land,
Yeah.
just waiting to go.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you could just get there with a Blood Sun, Pithing Needle. and
Yeah.
just
Are you
name
saying
your
you
two
didn't
fetch
just want,
lands.
like lands that don't do anything?
Yeah. They look pretty though.
And then, yeah.
They do look real nice.
Yeah. He's also got the very fancy Dark Grit that, got to unmask. So.
Yes. Chris may be hoping here for a additional unmask would be pretty good. Just have that exhume synergy.
Yeah,
so,
he's looking at a couple of 1-mana cards.
yeah, hitting a land and then being able to exhume, as long as the dude's in your yard. Notably, Scott will get back his Fairy Macabre.
Yeah. All right, and here comes that Fable.
Going in.
Which, funny enough, Reanimator doesn't have a ton of answers to a 2/2 Goblin Shaman.
And it ramps.
It does. I
So
mean,
good.
getting in there, getting the treasure, setting himself up to really try to lock things down and finish the game out with just a handful of goblins and a dream. I mean, that's all you really want with this deck, I think.
Yeah. Chris had a pretty quick turn. His draw go.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we can already see the Faithlet. Just so many 1-mana cards completely turned off by the simple act of playing a Chalice on 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we gotta
Goblin
appreciate
Shaman
the
is
little
pretty good.
cringe goblins coming in. That's kind of funny. Oh, and
Oh, yeah.
our
There we
future
go.
Pro Tour competitor token, Chastainer, taking the
beautiful.
place of a Goblin Shaman right now.
Fantastic.
Doing a good impression.
Coming in. It must be very, very difficult to.
We just can't keep
Play
Chaz
it.
off camera. Sorry to the
Yeah.
folks at home that are just tired of seeing him, but he just keeps coming back in one way or another.
He's just ready. He's just ready to go.
Yeah, he competing. That's all
Yeah.
he knows how to do. All
Double
right.
Rabble. Wow.
And
okay.
Rabble Masters. Everybody's attacking. If your name is Goblin, you're getting in there.
Oh, yeah. Coming in hot. We're gonna make some more gobos here.
Yeah, this is
And
really putting the pressure
gonna
on
jam.
Chris. Unfortunately, this has become quickly out of hand as a fast clock of 1/1s coming through is going to put some serious pressure on his life total to do anything relevant later.
Yeah, and Rabble Master's big. I mean, he's getting in there for 6.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I don't think he has much time left. This is a untap and see what you can do situation.
Yeah, essentially just needs to hit Unmask here.
Yeah.
Try to get that Archon on the board. I don't know if it'll do it.
Yeah, I don't think an Archon with how many Goblin tokens is really where you want to be.
Yeah,
Alright,
3
nice.
life buffer is not really enough to trading off your 6 mana creature, your 8 mana creature.
Yeah, exactly.
For a Rabble Master feels pretty bad, but
You're like, I'll
and he
draw
was
a
gonna
card
make
and
another
scoop 'em
one.
up.
Yeah.
But that does mean we get the game 3, so we'll see if Chris, assuming he'll take the play on this one, getting ahead of a early Chalice may be enough. Being able to cast the Thoughtseize on turn was really where he needs to be, right? Like,
Yeah.
he needs to be able to either cast his like some sort of setup is important. Because he can definitely race a couple of goblins, I feel, but not under so much duress of not being able to cast half of his hand.
Yeah. Sounds like these were you wish you still played Elish Norn on the side. Unfortunately, a lot of the reanimated decks kind of moved away from that.
Yeah, I mean-
but still, this is a powerful card. Like,
Yeah.
killing all the goblin tokens, killing all your elves.
Yeah, I mean, who knew? -2 across the board.
Yep.
So good. But unfortunately, yeah, really not good enough for current Legacy. It just doesn't get a chance to shine very often, and you just have better things to do with your mana half the time, like, Atraxa.
Oh, yeah. Wait, you mean drawing 5 cards is better than doing
Oh,
that?
look.
Oh, perfect. There we go. We got the reanimated list up here.
Yeah.
It's pretty stock standard. We got the Atraxian, the
Yeah,
Ceres
only
Emissary,
one
which are-
though. So a little different than some other lists that maybe prioritize her a little bit more over the Archons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have a pretty solid early setup of grief. So there's a situation where he can Thoughtseize and grief in his opener, really like kind of strip Scott's hand of anything relevant, and then go off the next turn essentially.
Yeah.
So
We
he
got a
can
couple
have
of
that.
backups too. It looks like we got Wear and Tear is probably coming out of the side here. You pick off those early artifacts nice and cheap. Serenity, same
Yep.
thing. Just want to get that out nice and early, kind of wipe the board of all those hate artifacts coming out from the Stompy deck here. I'm not really seeing much of else. Iona is also probably definitely a choice.
Yeah,
just
red
naming
seems
red.
fine.
Sweet mono red deck. Here we go.
I mean, you'll also probably bring in just some amount of early interaction when you can, but unfortunately, I don't think Chris has a whole lot outside of what's already in the main deck. So, really just leaning on being on the play here and hoping to snipe some early stuff, which we can already see in Scott's hand. Spirit Guide, Trinus, like he's definitely got some early pieces of lockdown ready to go.
Let's see.
Can't really tell what's in the middle there.
Yeah,
but
I see Chromox, Trinisphere, and License Hers. I think
yeah,
there's a
that's a
Rabble
Hers, yep.
Master. A good draw would here would be like Ancient Tomb or City of Traders. You can get that Trinisphere out on turn 1 because you do already have the 2 fast mana producers.
Yeah.
I mean, even an additional Spirit Guide or Chromox. Chromox probably a little bit worse just because you don't want to pitch an additional card here.
You're
but,
just losing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of two furs, but that Trinisphere definitely good, especially with Chris Mullen here. Looks like
Yeah.
a 5.
That's
going
rough.
a lot lower.
Literally looked like you just didn't have any land in that hand.
Yeah, I've heard that you need land to play Magic. I'm not sure.
Come on, we're
there's
just
not-
talking about Chromox.
There's not a lot of manaless dredge that's in play anymore, but I'm hoping to see a resurgence. 'cause,
Look, I've seen the
it hasn't
8-cast.
boring.
I've seen the 8-cast players go off and just drop a bunch of spells early with no mana involved.
Oh,
so.
Mox Opal's technically a land. It's almost the same thing.
So if you're not playing your 0 mana artifact, what are you doing? You playing real land? Doing it on hard mode?
There is an oil slick card. Was that a swamp?
I think it is a swamp.
I'm gonna presume it's a swamp.
We're not 100%. These oil slick cards getting out of hand, but he does seem to have land. Maybe
I don't even know if
I
we'll be
think
able to see it while
I
it's on
think
the
that's land,
battlefield.
grief, and some other black cards that are a little hard to tell, but
Yeah.
we'll probably see him in action soon. So, yeah, it's definitely an unmask as well. Okay, well,
Grief in here. Get rid of the unmask.
grief, pitch the unmask, as
Alright,
you do.
There we go. Oh, double Trinisphere. All right.
All right.
Little
I
bit of
mean,
pieces there.
and he does
Scott does
he's
have the
a-
turn 1 Trinisphere here.
Yeah, I mean,
It's gonna
you're-
take the hearse.
I think that's his best bet, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can kind of fight through the Trinispheres, but you're fighting through the hearses.
Yeah.
Not where you want to be.
No.
Especially with Chris down to just a very, very simple 2 cards in hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I know one of them's a land, one of them's an animate dead here.
Yeah.
I think it was possibly hoping to just kind of slam that animate dead next turn and just get back that grief just for a little extra value, kind of take another card and get in there. But
Singing Spirit Guides doing what they do.
Off the table.
So much mana on turn Uno for. Oh, surprise, surprise, the Trinisphere.
Yeah. And now it's the hangout game. Both players kind of sit here. Scott doesn't have a third
Yeah.
land or mana producer. You
Yeah.
cannot play.
Oh,
wow, okay,
and he
this would be
slams
nice.
it. Oh, and Raven Master just jumps in here. That's all you need. Mountain off the top.
Yep. I wish I was that good.
Oh yeah.
If
Sometimes
only.
you just flip it.
Yeah, just gets in there. Cool. Okay, we got 3 coming in.
Yeah.
And maybe Chris is looking to possibly just bring back a grief here, just
Yeah.
to get a little bit extra value. Getting
Yeah.
that white for that Serenity, which
I
most
mean,
likely is
he
hanging
gets
out in
to
there.
take the other Trinisphere out of blocker.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely would kind of reset them both, right?
Yeah.
If we go back to parity, then arguably Chris gets what he needs, which is time.
True. Yeah, he's kind of slowing down that Rabble Master a little bit, because essentially Rabble Master probably won't attack, and then you're just swinging in with goblins. I believe those goblins do have to attack, so
Yeah, they don't
you
get a
take it
choice,
one
but Raven Master himself does. Unless Scott decides to play another one, that's when things get a little hairy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would just run that into this here.
Yeah. Get a Fairy Macabre from Scott, just kind of doubling up on the 8s here.
And
He's gonna swing in with the Rabble Master.
Yeah, it's like interestingly
Can't
enough,
really
I
Chris
don't,
nothing.
I don't think Scott really has a ton of answers to creatures outside of the 4 Furies, obviously. Which Fury would take down a Grief. Oh, he did just go ahead and swing in there. I mean,
Yeah.
2 goblins? Sure, let's go.
That's
Putting a lot of
solid.
pressure on them, but they're carrying the world on their shoulders right now.
Yeah, just gotta draw out here. It's like a looting. There's no Chalice yet, so that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely means Chris just have outs to Chalicing.
Hey.
Here we go. Animating.
Fairy?
You're just gonna snap that right out of there.
Oh,
Gonna make the animate dead too for good measure.
yep. Doing a little bit of nothing now. We're again just resetting to these 1/1s going the distance. And interestingly enough, because they're all goblin, any future round, like anything else that cares about the fact these are goblins, still keeps. We just can't stop seeing Trinispheres.
Yeah, right.
I think the one's doing just fine.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Scott wants to have
Even
a
bother.
Molto.
Get her Entomb here.
Yeah, but for what? Which I think is Scott have another fairy in his.
He did just draw another Fairy
Yeah, I was saying,
Macabre, so
I believe
he was
anything that
fine.
happens here is unfortunate for
Yeah.
Chris, but obviously, as we talked about, one of the better cards to bring in was something that could protect him
Yeah.
from 1/1s
Yeah.
and everything else. Just unfortunate that it's not going to work out.
And Scott drew another Fairy Macabre. So
Wow, Scott.
This is yeah. Not gonna be reanimating very much.
Okay, a Faithless. All right. Don't think there's really any
Scott's
response to
level,
this.
sure.
You go ahead. You put whatever you want in the
Yeah.
yard.
You got it, man. That's
Oh,
gonna the emissary.
all right. Well,
And probably
so is that?
okay.
I mean,
Probably would have pitched the Dark Ritual there, just because Dark Ritual nets 0 mana.
yeah. Maybe he's looking to just hard cast a Ghostbreaker.
Yeah.
Which at this point is possible.
It does cost more than 3, so it'll always cost 8
Yeah,
with Trinisphere
yeah.
on the board.
It'll be fine. Hold something to just flashback the Faithless.
No.
I don't even know.
Oh, it's gonna do the Spice Blaze. It's gonna play Seaman Spirit Guide. Let's go. There we
I
go.
mean, the beats.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's also you need Spirit Guides in
3
too.
mana Grizzly Bears.
Yeah, I mean,
That puts Chris at
unfortunately,
exactly dead. So.
Chris is at 4, so a lot of his outs are no longer outs.
Yeah, gonna flashback to looking for probably.
And again, Chris
Unleash
not
spell.
knowing that Scott has just decided to draw all the pairing cards
Yeah.
in his deck, so good choice
Yeah.
on his part.
Yes. Good draws are good.
Yeah. Definitely putting the Thoughtseize away, can tell you that
Yeah.
much.
Oh, not a very good draw over here too. Looks like it was Dark Ritual and
Yeah, really
Thoughtseize.
just not hitting what he
Got the
needs.
Faithless Looting.
Now, he doesn't know that pretty much any of his draws are unfortunately just
Yeah.
not where he wants to be.
Yeah.
He's just going to show
Yeah,
the
he's
2
not gonna-
Fairy
not gonna mess
Macabre, and we're
around.
going to call it a day.
Makes it easy. Yeah, definitely good draws over here from Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, putting in, he's got four Fairy Macabre in the side.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did
for
not
Fairy
want
Macabre.
to lose to Reanimator today, and
Yeah,
really just chose not to, as
Yeah.
he had the Unlicensed Hearse, the Fairy Macabre. He was ready.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Yeah, Hearse is in the main board. Tired of losing to this deck. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
exile your cards.
Yeah, like,
Go.
oh, here we get a good look at it. And,
Yeah.
you know, a card we never did actually see him play, Caves of Chaos Adventure, never
Yeah.
showed up. Fury never showed up.
No.
Layla
Nope.
never showed up. You know who did show up? Goblins.
Goblins.
Just work. That's
Yep,
that's
just getting in there. What do goblins do? Turn sideways.
Oh, and I kind of missed it before. The unlicensed, there's one in the main deck.
There's two.
I
You got
actually
one.
didn't realize that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's significant. He definitely didn't want to lose to Reanimator.
Yes. I mean, essentially having. What
I
is
thought that was out of
six?
the board, and here it is. He
Yeah.
was just absolutely prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, and just having a little chit chat
Yeah.
about.
It looks like he took out the Caves of Chaos Adventures.
Yeah, again,
That makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like that he probably just thought they'd be too slow,
Yeah.
and just all of his early, spirit guide into prison-y type things is probably more than enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah, cut the exhumes here. Not a big fan of cutting exhumes, especially in this type of matchup, just because Chalice on 1 is pretty frequent for this type of deck.
Yeah, it does
so
feel like you
wanna
want to
not
kind of
have
spread it
reanimates.
out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
To have a few different things.
Yeah.
No good answers to Fairy Macabre
No,
cards,
no,
apparently.
definitely not. Yeah. Yeah,
But-
also the creatures donk pretty well. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
reanimating a creature, if it's in, like, literally not a Gristlebrand, is just kind of rough sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
like they could just swing back at you with a Fury, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess I lose my Archon. Or whatever
Yeah,
I'm playing, so.
that is the potential downside, especially Archon not looking great against a deck that produces so many tokens. You're just kind of like, here's all of this effort I put into
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
getting this guy out here, and you tossed a 1/1,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, and with 2 War Bosses and 4 Rabble Masters, like 6 different
Archon on
3-mana
blocks.
goblins. Yeah,
Archon
sweet
on
Archon.
blocks.
You can gain 3 life. I'll attack you for 8.
Yeah, it's like not exactly where you want to be, and the casual cost of life for the Reanimator deck to do certain things is it shows off significantly when they have to go against a lot of these just kind of go wide just little guys decks, where just all these little pings of damage equal death
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Where against other decks that aren't just beating them constantly
Yeah.
with 1/1s, they have enough life to play around with and kind of make something happen. But we already saw, like, Chris went to 4 off
Yeah.
just being beat up by 1/1s.
Just getting hit by
Couldn't do
goblins.
anything else,
Yeah. Well, this is a good game, guys. So we'll just like randomly, we got 30 minutes here. See if we can look into getting somebody
hopefully-
else on camera here.
Hopefully we can get a backup match and play. If not, we'll take a quick break. We have about 20-ish minutes left to get somebody over here, so hopefully we can catch somebody between games, but if not, then we'll just take a break, and we'll see you guys back in a bit.
See you around 5.
plays a lot of Modern actually was a math teacher. Finally, after me begging like multiple times, they did the math.
Oh.
It does indeed result in fewer draws.
I could try this.
I will keep this one as well.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'll crack this for
19.
Yep.
Oh, not a problem.
Sure. Okay.
Boop.
Does it need to be on or off?
No, I'll
Oh,
leave it off.
Whoa.
Oh, you're at 0. What?
There's
Sorry, I'm.
No,
you
not a
click
problem.
this, it's counters.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
I have
There.
to tap off to the side. Got it. I have no clue if that infect is ever going to come up. But
Nah. Not playing Infect. I thought about building it, but it's one of those things where I need more duels, and it's like for Infect, a deck that like I just don't like. Wirewood Symbiote.
yes, off of a Bayou.
I'll attempt a Force of Will.
Yep. You got it. And I have you at 19 as well.
Yep.
I will pass the turn.
I'll play an Island and pass. Side you.
Second Wirewood.
Sure.
Charity Druid.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And a turn.
Yep.
Wirewood Symbiote is an insect, correct?
It is an insect.
So it cannot return itself. Gotcha.
Cannot.
Alright.
Second Island.
Alright. City of Traitors.
Yep.
Cast Pact of the Titan. Hold priority.
Okay.
I will sudden substitution. I will take your Wirewood Symbiote.
It has split second, so we'll.
So I immediately get yes.
Oh.
So
I
split
see.
second immediately happens. So this immediately happens, and
Yeah.
the act is going to you.
It's just gonna play against a regular sneak and show opponent.
Yeah, that's why I always force will pitching Sneaky Show showing down all these. Then feel like, oh, he's on Sneaky Show.
Yep. You got it.
All right, game 2.
That is a neat combo.
Yeah.
Do you know how to reset the app? I'm guessing it's like. Yeah. What app is this?
Lotus.
Lotus. Okay.
Elves.
I don't know which one to use, so I picked the first.
I will take the plate. in this
You
game.
got it. Alrighty.
Now I like desperately want to put that into an EDH deck. This combo at least.
Oh, it's Sun Substitution's such a good card. I
Then Substitution's just a sick card in general.
yes. I'm not gonna lie. I like the mono black color pie breaks, like Imp's Mischief, Withering
Yeah.
Boon. Those ones, oh, they're so cool. But I don't play EDH ever, so I'm like, oh. What are you playing EDH?
I have a few decks, but
Mm-hmm.
not even sure which one it would go into. But I do have a 4-color Battle Smasher Thrasios.
Ooh, okay.
And that's like supposed to be the higher power level one, but in reality it's just the most expensive one, but doesn't actually feel like the best one. That was the one that the reserve list cards were for.
Yeah, but you can put in a Demonic Consultation
Yeah,
Thoughts Oracle.
I know, and I don't have those in there.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I was like, I kind of don't want to, but now I'm like,
I
you know what?
respect you for that though.
But now I'm like, I should have one of like my too many EDH decks. I should have one that's like near CEDH.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got the Thassa's Oracle. I just need to get the consultation and
Yeah.
what's the other one?
Tainted Pact.
Yep. I
It-
was like, the mana base is already there.
Yeah,
like,
if you have the entire mana base, it's like, oh,
like I already have the entire mana base and it's naturally Tainted Pact-able.
yeah.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you, you as well.
So do you ever play any Modern? Or
I
just-
don't. Honestly, I think Modern's a cool format. I just really like Legacy more, so I just spend all my money on Legacy.
Yeah, I kind of ended up the other way. But you know, I'm like, I have the 4 Cradle, so I should play this.
You have oh my god. Okay,
I'm gonna keep this.
you got it. I'll keep it as well.
I'm gonna start with a Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time resolves.
All right. 2, 5. Consult the hand.
Not a problem.
Take a Wirewood Symbiote.
Wirewood
Do you care
Symbiote.
about cutting?
Nah, it's going on a random order. I don't imagine you would cheat.
Yeah, I'm not running any Grenzos. Also, I'm gonna be cracking.
You
Like
got
right
it. 19.
Yep. 19. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna get a basic
Mhm.
this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with an Allosaurus Shepherd.
Allosaurus Shepherd resolves.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Tap.
Mhm.
Draw. Wirewood?
Sure. 2 mana.
2 mana. Metal Sentinel?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let's get in there for 1.
19.
Alright, go ahead.
Alrighty. And a turn. Has brainstorm.
Sure.
Two cards in hand?
Correct.
I can keep 1. Alright. I'll untap.
Yep.
Yep. Ancient Team. And then I'll take 2.
Yep. Showing and telling.
Mm-hmm. Artifact, creature, enchantment, or
Okay.
land.
Got it.
Good.
I'm actually not going to put anything. I actually don't know the correct way to do that. To signify I'm not going to put anything.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not putting anything in.
I'm putting in Emerald.
Okay.
And then I'll pass to you.
You will see why in just a second.
I have a feeling it's natural order.
4 mana?
Yep.
Cradle.
Uh-huh.
4 mana. It's just a natty Crater F.
So 5/5 to everything?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. So that'd be 6/6/6/6/6 7/7/6/6/5/5. Even if I block 7/7/6/6/5/5. Yeah, so 22. Okay, yep. Turn 2 slow. I'll be on the play. Did you have the Crater Behemoth or you
I
dropped?
had Crater Hoof and Cradle. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like,
Yeah, there's no reason to put either in at that point.
I did for a second on my turn. I was like, let me just double check this Italian guy as Cradle. Yep, that
This
looks-
Italian guy.
It does say Legendario.
Legendario. Yes. See, what I will say though is, look how fast our rounds are going.
I know.
They're over my turn like 3.
Alright, I've received like absolutely no new information about
Oh, don't
what
worry.
else you might be doing.
Oh, the Crater. Oh. I was thinking, I was like, I think I'm going to be 1 turn too short because I'm like, even if you pump up the team and I block out, I'm like, that's still an insane amount of damage if you can, like, get a 6th mana. Because at that point, it would still be, because I block 1, I take 4. Yeah, still, it's still, I think, is 20 even. But I was like, I just gotta hope you blank. I was like, that was my only hope. I was like, gotta hope it's like, you're sitting there with nothing. But. What are you playing modern?
Amulet Titan,
Ooh.
the deck of choice. That is definitely the one.
You must be
but
loving it right now.
I do enjoy it. I don't know. It's like I
Mhm.
swear, like 90% of the Titan Discord is just like, we have a good matchup against Hammer, we have a bad matchup against Murktide, we have a bad matchup against Scam. This deck is dog shit. No one should be playing it, but we're all one tricks and we can only play this deck. It's fucking like tier 6. But then everyone just plays it and then it like does well every now and then.
Yeah.
I still enjoy playing it. I just like
That's the thing about
Yeah.
Magic I have to say is like if you're playing at events, I think you should have fun.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to like go and like plan a circuit or something, like you should play what you want to play. And
Yeah.
have fun.
you're on the play, right?
Yes.
All right. But in the like RCQ off season, I have been playing a lot of prowess.
Nice.
I think I can keep this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one. All right, I'll start it off.
Mhm.
Ponder.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like,
My apologies.
you're
My
good.
apologies. Yeah, we're gonna keep them all. Keep them all there. We'll draw.
Part of me is kind of terrified. Like,
Go
kept the one lander. I'm gonna go down to
19. You got it.
I'm gonna grab a basic forest and try to resolve my uncounterable spell.
Uncounterable spell resolves.
All right, I will pass after that.
Okay. All right, I will draw.
Not shuffling.
No.
Curious.
Curious. It's just green spells can't be
Green
countered.
spells, right?
Okay. That's ponder.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll keep it like that.
Sure.
And I will pass to you.
You're in Ranger?
Mm-hmm.
Activate. I guess I'll target there. Bounce
Sure.
my forest.
Sure.
Replay forest. Heritage Druid.
Mm-hmm.
3 mana?
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay if I grab a
Sure, go for it.
3 mana? Flips.
Sure. 2 mana.
One mana. Trigger. No mana.
Mhm.
Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna return Kyrian Ranger and try to target the Heritage Druid that I have.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You have how many cards?
I have 5.
Okay. We'll pass.
Okay.
Go ahead. That.
Obviously, Birchwell Ranger.
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. End of turn, we will fetch. Go to 19. Sure. We're gonna cast Brainstorm.
Sure.
Oh, this isn't Ponder.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got them swapped this game.
Okay. All right, we'll draw.
Mhm.
Okay. Just 1 second to parse this out.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, got it. Hold priority.
Yep.
Pick 2.
Sure.
Sudden substitution. I'll take your Wirewood Symbiote.
Yeah, you got it. I think I had an next turn, but depends.
Yeah,
how it
I
happened.
had a Slaughter Pact. I was
Slaughter Pact.
because I was
Great.
looking at the Birchwell. I'm like, if you have any way of creating like excess mana somehow, and I can't stop it, then I'd like need to kill it.
Yeah. Good games.
Good games, man. That literally just came down to who played first. Every game. I think if you'd gone first both those games, I think you'd have won. What did you board in against me?
Just Thoughtseizes. I actually
Oh.
don't know if there are other things. Yeah, I figured like some kind of bounce spell. I don't know if anyone plays Chain of Vapor in Legacy.
I keep considering putting it in my side deck. I keep doing it. I keep like going back and forth on it. because this hits so many more targets, but I'm so tight on mana so often that it's like I like the idea of being able to like, and these.
Or
I
the
don't-
Thoughtseize.
Yeah, but I have to board out so many cards. Like I just board out so many cards for these. What's the other one I board?
Decided out Stifle.
Yep.
I guess that'll counter Crater Hoof.
I
I don't think it's good enough, but
yeah.
yeah, it was. I'm like still learning how to sideboard with this deck, and I think siding out is definitely the harder part.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out that turn if I could double glimpse, and I was like, if I can double glimpse, I probably am winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually cannot even remember the board state. But luckily, this is on camera, so I can see.
You see,
if
me
I
like,
punted.
oh.
And on Twitch, if you want to look at the full box.
Yeah, I can't remember if I had. Did I already have a Heritage Root out that turn?
Yes.
Or sorry, not Heritage Root, the other one, Birch
Birch
Lore.
Lore. Yes, you had it, or you had it after the glimpse, not before the glimpse. Because before the glimpse, you had Korean Ranger and Allosaurus Shepherd. You bounced your land to replay
Yeah.
the land. Because that's when I kind of like felt kind of safe. Because when she did that, I was like, okay, now you can't naturally draw into Gaia's Cradle,
Yeah.
play it out, and then go.
No, yeah, I think I was like just a little short of going double glimpse and still being able to do more. So I could only play one dude, like a dude that untaps another dude, so that I can make more mana.
And you didn't draw any Nettle Sentinels.
I did not.
Yeah. I do like elves though. It's one of those decks I think is so cool, especially that you cared about that deck that much to buy 4 Gaia's Cradles.
This was like my end goal deck when I was in high school.
Really?
I guess this doesn't need to be. Yeah, so in high school, I graduated in 2015. In high school, I was like, you know what? Like, I loved watching Star City games on like Sunday mornings, the Legacy Day 2s. Like, I always like would watch them. And I was like, you know what? Ross Merriam, cool guy. I love elves now.
Elves
And
are
I
really
was
sick.
just like, I'm committing to this. I was also like, I don't think I'm a Delver person.
Delver seems cool.
Yeah,
It's
but I
it's one of those. It's trying really hard. Like elves involves a lot of thought, but all of the games like end up at the same location. But there's so much thought that you have to put into getting to that location.
Yeah, I am like, yeah, I just like prefer unfair decks. Is what it came down to it. I mean, I play Titan.
Titan's fair. It dies the Blood Moon. It's one of those decks where it's like if you could be like beat out by like one card easily, it's like I consider
Yeah.
that. While it's unfair, it's like also you can't turn one Titan.
You
If I-
cannot. No, you cannot.
Okay, I was like, I'm pretty
you
sure
made
you
me second guess. You can definitely turn two. There are a few lines, especially with Mycosynth.
To my right, we have.
Zach.
Hi, Zach. Okay, so first of all, before we even get to Mulligan's match analysis, so on and so forth, let's acknowledge that our boy Mike Byrne is playing triple sleeved.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you like your deck so much, and it's, it's legacy. Decks typically tend to be worth quite a bit of money, so you want to keep those cards nice and safe. You don't want any unforeseen liquids entering your sleeves. That would be
Absolutely
an
not.
unfortunate situation.
Why get them sealed once when you can get them sealed twice?
And why seal twice when you can seal them 3 times?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Oh, and Mike Byrne's going to go ahead and take a mulligan. Looks like you're going to go to 6 here. Zach Rick's going to go ahead and keep his opening 7. Sneak and Show versus Painter. This is a really interesting matchup. How do you think this usually goes?
Yeah, so both decks have quite a bit of interaction. I think Painter's got a little bit more. I think they will typically run a little bit more of the counter spells in main. They will still have the forces, same as Sneak and Show, but they'll sometimes run. Not a really big fan of it, but sometimes they'll run like Hydro Blast and Pyroblasts, and then they'll also still have the Metallic Rebukes in the main. To kind of give them that extra edge. So having counter spells on turns like 0 through 4 is going to be a lot better for Sneak and Shows, because you can get like you can snipe a Sneak and Show.
Yeah.
Then you're looking good.
Sneak or show. Yeah.
Sneak or Show.
All right, so we're going to lead on Seed and Sign On for Mike Byrne. We're going to go ahead and tap it, and then untap it, and then play a Lotus Petal, and then probably tap it. And here's an Emery Lurker, the lock. Let's go ahead and see if that resolves. It absolutely will. We're going to mill the top 4 cards of our library, take a look at what we hit, and we do hit a single artifact, Mishra's Bauble. Brings pretty good value in this matchup. Card quality matters, and we're just going to lead on the Grindstone. Just send it.
Oh, yeah. Just kind of like playing Emery, like, oh, it looks like the way might be clear, so let's go ahead and just slam this Grindstone now. Just get out of the way. It does leave that Lotus Petal open for Mike this turn as well, to be able to cast that if he does want that little bit of extra kick, a little bit of extra mana this turn.
And Zach basically just playing an island and passing. Worth noting that Grindstone can target yourself, right?
I do believe so.
So he can actually mill cards to look for more stuff for Emery, which is interesting. Emery's going to go ahead and tap, go get that Mishra's Bauble, and it looks like we're going to start going card positive on Mike Byrne's side. I can already see that he has Forcible back up in hand. We're going to draw on the upkeep. Zachariah's going to go ahead and draw to his draw step, play a Scalding Tarn, and then look at a handful of cantrips, sneak attack, pass back.
Ooh, Mike drawing that paint is really good here. Looking for ideally some kind of like an LED would be nice. Some additional acceleration here so that you can try to get that paint on the board. It's been a couple draws, so it's Mike does know one of the additional cards that Zach has drawn so far, so but he kind of figured a little bit earlier the way was clear, but now it's just getting up to that 2+3 because you typically don't want to leave those pieces hanging around.
Well, we also do see a Thought Monitor in this hand. It's worth noting it does cost 2 mana right now, I believe, which may be something that draws a counterspell from Zach as he tries to clear a path for this painter to get on board.
Yeah. See if we can maybe Mike can get something with a little bit of a backup here.
All right, we're going to go ahead and crack one of these baubles. In response, we're going to cast Brainstorm. Let's look at the top 3 cards of our library.
Interpreting Volcanic, alright.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of cards here that don't necessarily look like they have to be there. Specifically the second copy of Sneak Attack, but it looks like he's actually going to keep both the copies of Sneak Attack.
Alright.
We're going to look at the top card.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of like,
Gamesmanship.
backup from Force.
Yeah. The games with Brainstorm and Mishra's Bauble are so very interesting. Where it looks like Byrne is thinking about cracking another Mishra's Bauble. We're going to do exactly that. He'll take a look at the exact same card. And then Zachariah's going to shuffle at the end of the turn anyways. Go ahead and get that Volcanic Island that he left on top to go ahead and conceal the most possible information. What's funny here is that getting that from the top of the library specifically conceals more information than searching your library for the Volcanic Island. It's the little things, right?
It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
that's not nothing.
Yeah. And then we get to skill check Mike Byrne and see if he draws both of his cards in Zachariah's upkeep, which is something I've literally never done before.
He did so.
Oh, he already did? What a master.
Yes, we got this coming out.
Fetch.
Fetch in. Let's see if Zach here, he's got some options. He does have a show and tell, and he does have the sneak attack. So
He does.
Mike has quite a grip of cards on hand, so it's kind of like, oh, do I want to try to run this out into a counterspell possibly? Or, okay, so he's going to stick with the show
It looks
and
like
tell.
we're looking at the show and tell. And we're
Seems
going to
fine.
show Force
kinda
Pitch,
goes away.
Thought Monitor, presumably his only blue card. Without that Painter Servant on the battlefield, things are not necessarily the most blue in Mike Byrne's deck. And it looks like Zach Rick is trying to figure out if he's going to, or Rick and Law is going to try and figure out if he's cracking this Lotus Petal. Although I'm not exactly sure what for. Let's see if he's got anything rolled up for this Forcible. I don't think he does.
Yeah. So Mike's playing that Spire of Industry here. It does give a little bit of a bonus here too for Zach, just because if he does draw a land next turn, he would be able to play the show and tell and then show and tell something in. So Mike's gonna see if he can just try to go for it here. He's got the painter in hand already, so he can just go in and slam this, see if it works.
So we're gonna go ahead and play the Painter. Presumably we would have defended that show and tell with the Forcible if we had it.
Yeah.
And it looks like that's gonna be the game.
Yep.
Painter's gonna go ahead and take that. Pretty quick, pretty dry. Zakric didn't really draw the most interaction.
No.
His Brainstorm saw kind of just more combo pieces, which isn't necessarily what you want a ton of redundancy of in this matchup, right? Because this one's not necessarily about speed. It's about making sure that you buy the proper window for yourself to be able to kind of do the thing your deck plans to do, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it can be a little bit good just because. So we've got Mike's deck list up here. So the problem with a lot of these decks too is Emery is very good. Provides a lot of resiliency. I mean, we saw Mike last game
Drew 3
drawing
cards.
3 extra cards
Yeah.
with Mishra's Wobble. It ramped him with Lotus Petal. Gets back anything you may need. Like just whatever you're feeling. Saga will be able to get some of the more value stuff. It looks like he got a Retrofitter Foundry in there, so he can kind of play a little bit of a long game here and then get that Spell Bomb if he wants to try to bounce something too.
And maybe most importantly, the difference that I know between the Sneak and Show deck and like this kind of Painter's Blue Painter combo deck is that the Blue Painter combo actually has a backup plan where it can kind of just play Urza Saga, Dot Monitors, and just create
Jam
a bunch of crap
creatures.
that
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt can't deal with.
Got interesting sideboard options here from Mike as well. Thinking Brazen Bars maybe if you want to try to deal with any sort of targets trying to put in. Blue Elemental Blast, obviously a must-have. You kind of want to deal with their Pyroblast that they're most likely putting in for your mono blue deck, essentially. Double Force Negation always looking good too. Just get more of those counter spells to give your opponent a hard time, just kind of stopping them from doing the thing. Not really much else here. I mean, Hairwire Mite's also an option just because of the sneak attack. He does already have one in the main board, but it's always a possibility of maybe cutting one more. Pithing Needle also good. That's already in the main board too. So main board is already pretty well positioned against Sneak and Show. Like this already is a decent amount. It has more counter spells than the Sneak Attack deck does. So you get a little bit more resiliency, and then you just have Emery just drawing a bunch of cards. So
I would assume that what we're really looking at is those Elemental Blasts and those Force Negations if you can find space for them. Maybe even cutting a little bit down on his combo, specifically Grindstone, because it's fetchable with the lands, but it's not very easily cast into counter magic. There's no way to make that uncounterable, right?
yeah.
Zach, on the other hand, I don't know if we can get his list up here. Open deck list in top 8 actually makes this pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So they'll both
So
know
let's
what
see.
each other's sideboarding, and they have a general understanding of what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
Mike looking like he might be leaving those Force Negations in the sideboard. Zach seems to already know exactly what he's doing in this matchup.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, he's very secure in it.
Yeah, definitely a possibility because a lot of times against the blue decks when you're playing Painter, then sometimes you just want to jam Painter and just name like red. It just turns off all their Force of Wills.
Sure.
Your Pyroblasts or your Hydroblast or your Blue Elemental Blast is just gonna kill or counter everything in their deck, which is really nice. So it gives you a little bit more outs. Like sure, it shuts off your Force of Wills, but when you're trying to make your opponent dead and shut off their counter spells, and that definitely works.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to a card like Painter Servant. I think one of the reasons why we don't see that design space enter too often is because of how funky the rules interactions are with it a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But it's worth noting, it's real cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Sometimes you just have to do it once and you realize, yo, this is broken. We can't ever do this again. But this specific one is really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interaction with that are pretty good.
Okay, looks like we've got...
So deck here. Ooh, double attracts are very interesting. We got triple of the Emrakul, double Griselbrand here. One guide hanging out there. That's pretty good. It's a pretty stock standard Sneak and Show list. Looks like we got one Omniscience. Looks like he's probably going to be bringing in Brotherhood's Ends, probably the Pyroblast and Elemental Blast. Might even bring in some Omniscience over one of the other threats, just so that you can get a little bit of additional value. Blood Moon's also a good option. Most of their lands are going to be non-basics. So just kind of shutting your opponent off of blue mana sometimes is good. Also, just killing Urza Saga is also definitely solid.
Anyway, we're trying to get these surgical extractions here to potentially take our opponent off combo altogether.
That is definitely an option. Sometimes you just play an Emery on turn 1, like we saw Mike just do on game 1. They just mill a Grindstone, and then you just surgical their Grindstone, and you got to make your opponent get those Urza Sagas, and then just try to aggressively make constructions.
Which is significantly harder against a deck like Sneak and Show, where even though the Plan A and Sneak and Show may not be great against Painter's Plan A and Sneak and Show is definitely way faster than Plan B in the Painter deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're talking about cards like Brotherhoods and that interact much more positively.
Mhm.
Probably getting rid of like a non-zero amount of dazes, maybe even a couple cantrips,
Yeah.
just to try and make sure we up that card quality that we're trying to have.
Yeah, it is difficult for Mike in this because he does have Emrakul's in his deck. So, yeah, Urkar, not really sure why he kind of scooped it up on game one, just because his library, his graveyard was shuffled back in his library. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
you do what you got to do.
yeah, it's like sure, like if
sure.
he doesn't feel confident enough, like
Yeah.
that's why they typically run some Soul Guide Lanterns, so they can kind of just snipe those Emrakul's right out of the graveyard.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume that he drew all 3 of his Emrakul's.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
good
they're all in
faith.
his hand.
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be presumptuous.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe forgetting either Emrakul's or anything.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he won't forget it in game 2 at all. But it looks like we're gonna get started here pretty momentarily. Cutting each other's decks. Go ahead and presenting. Mike Burns gonna go ahead and draw his 7. Zach will do the same, and hopefully we get another interesting game where we see. Let's see. Oh, definitely not doable. Only mana sources and a sneak attack, and then Burn looks like he has lands and spells, relevantly colored lands and colored spells. So looks like we've got a solid opener there.
No artifact lands, unfortunately. Like a Seed of the Synod. Oh, is that a Seed
Oh,
of the
there's
Synod?
Seed of
Oh,
the
there we go.
Synod.
There's
Yes,
a Seed of the
sir.
Synod in there,
Yes,
which
sir.
is good. He's got that Seed, the Opal, so he can still get that turn 1 Emery.
Yeah.
And then have that Metallic Rebuke as well if he wants to leave that up instead. If you think your opponent's gonna have the turn 1 Ancient Tomb, Petal, Show and Tell, then you can kind of get in there. But
Absolutely. But Zach's gonna go ahead and draw up a new hand. Look at 7 new cards. Look like he sided in this Blood Moon, which surprisingly turns off a lot of the monocolored enemy deck's lands. He's gonna go ahead and has some lands and some spells. Lotus Petal, Preordain, things like that. Lead on a Misty Rainforest. Fetch. Go ahead and grab presumably a basic island. Yes, sir. And I think we're just gonna start cantripping.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the name of the game with Sneak and Show. You just like, I've definitely seen multiple matches of Sneak and Show where you somehow show and tell an omniscience, and then you're just like, Ponder, Preordain, Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm, Ponder,
Yeah.
Preordain, and you're just sitting there just digging for an answer, digging for a big creature to put in, and obviously ideally an Emrakul, take that additional turn just so you can close that game out.
All right, so it looks like we're going to go ahead and lead with this Preordain. Look at the top 2 cards of the library. We're going to see Omniscience Gristlebrand. We're going to top the Gristlebrand, bottom the Omniscience. Then we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. All right, so looking here. I mean, I have to assume that this turn at some point ends in an Emery. And there we go. See if Zach has anything for this. Oh, looks like it's just going to go ahead and resolve. We're going to mill relevantly Pithing Needle and Painter Servant. So if Zach has that Surgical Extraction, now seems like the time.
Oh yeah, you want to
look-
get those painters out.
We're going to go ahead and untap and draw. We're going to have an Ancient Tomb.
Don't think Zach here
Play.
has a show and tell, so it looks like he's just gonna slam this Blood Moon and then like get rid of his opponent's blue mana for at least a turn. I mean, especially Mike can draw almost any artifact except for Mox Opal to be able to produce that blue. So
Relevant text. The Seed of the Synod is still an artifact.
yes,
Even though it is a basic.
Yes.
Or even though it's a mountain.
yeah.
So this Emery, I mean, we know he has basic on in hand, but this Emery can cast a Pithing Needle, which can name whatever it likes, and then this Mox Opal is still online. So this doesn't actually take off a colored mana, even though it does constrict his mana a little bit. Definitely makes this Urza Saga significantly less play.
yes.
Yes. Looks
Yeah.
like we're gonna activate Emery, targeting Pithing Needle. We're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna cast Pithing Needle.
Yeah, presuming probably naming the. I mean, it's good. That's good options. You can either just hit Gristlebrand just because you don't want your opponent to draw some extra cards, but
Could name Sneak Attack as well.
Sneak Attack is
Yeah.
definitely a good choice as well.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put that island on the battlefield.
It's good. This does leave Metallic Rebuke open for Mike
Yes, it
here.
does.
Mike does have an answer in his mainboard for mainboard and sideboard for Blood Moon. Like he does have that Haywire Might, and Mox Opal does produce that green for him. Fortunately, he would have to either play an additional Emery and mill it, or try to draw naturally.
Yeah.
Not getting that with Urza Saga with Blood
No,
Moon on the
absolutely
battlefield.
not. Oh well, there's a Painter Servant. I guess we can just. I mean, if we natural draw combo, that's good enough,
I
right?
think he does have 2 Metallic Rebukes in hand, so that's pretty good.
Oh, that's a lot of
he's-
protection.
Yeah,
Especially considering those Ancient Tombs are only producing red mana right
that
now.
one red, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go
We're getting
ahead.
the Emery beats.
Oh, are we?
All right,
no,
we're
okay.
getting the
Boo,
All right.
boo. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play a Painter Servant, which is probably correct, but also lame.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of a tough spot for Mike here too, because it's like you want to be able to name a different color so that it shuts off your opponent's force wills, but he does still have a force will in hand, so shutting off his own force will feels pretty bad. It might just be correct to do so.
I have to assume that his force of wills or Mike's force of wills are more valuable than Zach's force of wills right now.
Yeah, looks
Mike
like he
is
did
much
do
closer
blue,
on
so
board. Okay, for sure. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just play a Lotus Petal land pass. We're gonna pass back to Mike. Mike's gonna draw another copy of Metallic Rebuke, is that? Or
He's
Lotus
already had
Petal
two
for
Lotus
Lotus,
Petal.
Lotus Petal return. And I mean, eventually we're just gonna cast an Emrakul, right?
yeah. Funny enough, you can actually also just you can hardcast Force of Will now. He does have that fifth mana, so
Let's get in for two.
yeah,
get in for
they
two.
both can hardcast those Force of Wills.
We're getting in there.
Yeah.
Ancient Tomb's getting worse every day, baby. All right. And then I think they're both sitting on relatively reactive hands and dead cards, so he's just going to go ahead and pass back. Zach is going to draw a copy of Sneak Attack, and he's going to just slam it, see what happens. We could very well see just a hard cast Force of Will here, which I actually like over the Metallic Rebuke at the moment.
He does have double up on the Metallic Rebuke. Force of Will seems fine for the time being, just to hold on to, just because if you do Force, then you kind of got to exhaust all your resources right away. But he's able to double Metallic Rebuke in this situation and still have mana for it.
Yeah, and it is worth noting that Metallic Rebuke is not going to be online for much longer if we Creatron lands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, well, it does have, what is the name of the ability?
I'll go first. Best of luck. I got them all.
I'll keep.
Dang. I don't like that.
We'll see.
All right. On a good 6. Doesn't have to be great. I'd like it to be great.
All right.
But a good 6, I can live with it.
Good find. Good find.
Nah, it's an alright 6.
All right.
Alrighty, I'm on the play, so. Alright. Put that on the bottom. Alright, good to go? Go ahead. Tap, add 1 mana color. When I tap it, you get a 1/1 spirit. Delver of Secrets.
Yep.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna crack. Go 19.
You don't want to give me a 1/1 last time?
Oh, you decided not to take it. Decided not to let me do that. Tempt? Sure. All right. I'll keep both. Alright, and then put these both. And I'll pass to you.
Trigger.
Mhm.
X for 1.
Ow! Tarmogoyf!
X.
I'm gonna attempt to brainstorm.
Results.
Okay.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Auto war, pass.
Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Friends?
Sure. That's some beautiful looking brainstorms. Prismatic ending. Draw. How much is that? 6? Okay, I'll go down to 12. Go. Okay. How many cards do you have in hand?
6.
5,
6.
6.
One and you know one.
All right. Oh, there's something wrong with the life? Oh, okay.
Keep going.
I'm at 12, correct?
Correct.
I'll go to 10.
Okay.
Attempt to show and tell. Okay. I'll pass to you. Go to 4. I think I know what's there. I do know what's there. All right, game 2. Delver. Rug Delver.
Rug, huh?
Rug Delver.
Rug, is that what you
Yeah.
That's what I'm playing?
Yeah.
Did
I know
you
you're. I know you're hiding red. I know you're hiding on me.
Did you not see my tongue?
I saw you hiding on me.
Okay.
I saw you hiding.
I mean, sure. If I'm playing Rug Delver, then I must be playing Rug Delver.
Yeah, man. Nemo, come on now. Come on. You can't lie to me, bro. You can't lie to me.
I don't lie. I just fabricate some around.
Oh. Mm-mm-mm. I'll be on the play. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'm doing. I already know what to do.
Yeah. See, Nemo told you, bro. Final boss time, bro. See?
Swift. Rug Delver.
Rug Delver, bro.
You caught me.
You ain't playing white, bro. That's a fake out. It's a
Yeah.
fake out, bro. Prismatic ending. No.
I had a prismatic ending in my hand. Oh,
Yeah.
you synced it.
I seen it. Now I switch over to shoulder control. Oh. All right. Set.
It's like 60.
What? Thank you. You as well. can try this.
Go ahead.
All right. Go ahead. Hex drink. Bet.
Go ahead. Funny.
Didn't expect it. Sure. I'll drop.
Insult my friend.
Oh, I'm trying to insult your friend. Go ahead.
2.
2. Ow.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Brainstorm.
Go fetch. Liked every card. Wasteland. Wasteland. 16. Is it turn? Or fetch one.
Stifle.
I was thinking it.
Stifle's a good card.
I was like, let's see. Let's see if he's
That-
got the steeple.
Stifle's a good card that I don't have currently.
Alright. Elon. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Happen.
Alright. Draw. Mm-hmm. I'm tempting to cast Preordain. Alright. I'll draw. Preordain. And I'll pass to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, not a problem. Mm-hmm. $13.
Card you.
6. Alright. Tarmo Goifster. How big is he? 3. It's a 3.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's
3, 4
turn.
cards.
Sure.
Go.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Spell Pierce. Sure, Spell Pierce is fine. And I'll pass to you. At 8. Mm-hmm. And a turn.
Sure. Dead.
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
Go to blue.
Mm-hmm. Dave. Sure, you got it. I didn't have anything.
Oh, wow.
I just kept drawing lands. See, you this is what I told you I want to play against you. See? Told you.
You have a pretty deck.
I do have a pretty deck. Is that a Seiju Pact? That's what I put in.
I'm running a lot.
Jeez. Well, I mean, you really didn't know what I was playing. I completely understand.
Yeah.
What's the other card?
I had an inclination because I think I heard someone mention Hive Mind, and then I still forget. Why do you use the thing to give me a 1/1? What does it do again?
So,
Oh, to
against
swap.
control deck?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Against control decks, you do that. It's only 4? That was only 4. Yeah. Yeah, I was just fumbling looking for pact. I kept a 4-lander. And just tried to, and I had a sudden substitution, a Hive Mind, and a Force. So I was like, all right, cool. We just need to draw a pact or draw some cantrips.